Hello, everyone. This is Megan,
And this is Alana.
and welcome to Tea Time Crimes. All right. Hello. How you doing today? What's up, Alana?
Just living the dream over here.
Oh, wow. Let's see. So this week I promised you an episode more in your wheelhouse because last week had a pretty high death count. So this one's picked especially for you. We'll get there. Let's see. For what I learned from last week is that I can't do basic math, which I knew about myself. But like, you should just accept. I'm not going to change that either. You should just accept that I'm probably going to count wrong all the time. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. You get the gist. You get the gist. But I get excited and I just kind of intuit like the distance instead of actually counting. And I'm a little off. So apologies. And let's see, Alana, you swallow your tea like a bag full of gravel.
Yep, this is a thing. It's always been a thing. But the fans could love it. ASMR.
I don't know what that is. You say that a lot, and I never
wrote
know.
it down. It's a big thing. It's big. It's a big thing.
Where is it a big thing?
Everywhere. I'll tell you. Okay, so it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. So it's basically like people will do videos of shoe shining and like that repetitive the sounds that come from doing shoe shining, or like rubbing
like
skin, or
Ew.
like chewing. Like this
Ew.
is a thing that calms people down. It's like an anxiety calmer, like all different kinds of sounds.
So it calms your anxiety.
Yeah.
So are you just setting this
people
up for peach season?
Yeah, baby. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to bite in that peach and it's going to get messy.
That's a throwback from last
The listeners
episode.
they're going to hear it.
Yuck. So, but like a loud swallowing noises.
Yeah. So here's some live ASMR. Ready?
I don't know that counts. But I've literally learned everything I know about it just now.
There's many different, subtypes of ASMR. So
okay,
it's a whole world.
All right then. I'm going to take your word for it. So I guess what tea are you drinking then today? Since we jumped into that.
You told me to go with a lighter tea today. So we went all the way light. This is a caffeine-free tea.
Oh.
It's called Jardin Tropical.
Oh boy.
Or tropical garden, if you don't know Latin. And so the description is exotic fruit. a blend of mango, pineapple, papaya, and peach that evokes delectable, juicy summer fruit.
You did this on purpose too.
I didn't. So I'll show you the tea bag here. It's very interesting. You can see all the different fruits. Well, you can't really see.
So she's holding up a tea bag, as you might have guessed, and I can't see anything from it.
But see, I feel like that's a rind of a fruit. Anyways.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe that was an orange skin.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. So, wait, where are we at with the bodies? Can you explain that?
It's like no body, right? There's no depth to it. It's a very light tea. It tastes exactly as it was advertised. It's very fruity. There's a little coconut almost taste to it, but I don't think there was even. I guess I taste the peach. I taste the peach.
Of course you do.
So it's nice. I think it would be better as an iced tea on a hot day.
Oh, all right.
So
is it really bitter? Is it sweet or is it?
It's sweet. It's not like sugary because it's just
because it's
water.
Tea. Yeah.
But there is definitely a sweetness that you get from the fruit.
Okay. Do you like it?
It's all right.
You don't like it. I saw your face when you took a sip. You don't love it.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah, there it is.
But I would really enjoy it as iced tea.
So with some modifications, it's making the list.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. So should we jump in to what is an episode just for you?
Let's do it.
Okay. Today we're going to talk about Anne Bonny and Mary Read.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh.
I like the name Bonny.
It's the last name, but cool. So we'll start with Anne. Anne was born in Ireland as Anne Cormac, and she was born sometime between 1690 and 1700.
So can we use Irish accents for this episode then?
You can.
What's her name? Anne Bonny?
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Lay it
on.
Yeah, I did.
It's not going to be good. I need C's and T's and H's for Irish accents.
Okay,
you may continue.
If a phrase moves you, please showcase your Irish accent. But we're not here for long.
Okay.
So Anne was born to William Cormac and Mary Brennan. The catch, though, is that William and Mary weren't married because
that's scandalous.
William was married to somebody else.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. So Mary was actually
a love child.
Mm-hmm. Mary was actually a maid. I don't know if she was William's maid or that was just her occupation, but she was a maid. And it's said that Anne spent a large chunk of her childhood actually dressed as a boy so that William could spend time with her. The theory being that he would take her to work with him. He was an attorney, and he would dress her up as a boy, and then she would like be a clerk and like do stuff for them. There are a couple. I mean, the other theory is that maybe she was dressed as a boy so he could say she was a distant relative. I guess a boy relative raises less eyebrows. I don't know. So I imagine at this time, though, this far back, dressing as a boy and being as a boy, she probably was put in opportunities and learned things that she wouldn't have otherwise,
it seemed like a really good opportunity for her.
So yeah, she's potentially working in a law firm, so learning how to act like a boy, behave like a boy. She's learning a different set of skills than most girls her age.
Right.
Well, eventually, William's wife finds out about the whole charade and
William
kicks him to the curb. So William and Anne and Anne's mother, Mary Brennan, they actually moved to what would be today Charleston, South Carolina.
Boo.
Why boo? Oh, because no accent?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a Southern accent I can pull out now. That we're
you do. That's for sure.
So they're in South Carolina. William buys a plantation, and Mary sadly does not live very long. She gets typhoid and dies. So Anne is said to have, be pretty fiery. She's got red hair, green eyes, and
a bonny lass.
There it is. That wasn't bad. Any Irish listeners weigh in on that. But so she's got that fiery spark, and when her mother dies, that fiery spark kind of gets out of control. She was only 12 or 13. I mean, you can imagine.
Would you say that she was 13?
Oh, I would not. Oh boy. Oh boy. What is in that tea? Peaches make her crazy, guys. So she starts acting out, let's say. And when I say acting out, I don't mean like she's slamming her door and saying, "I hate you" to her dad. She got in a fight with a servant girl and stabbed the servant girl.
Whoa.
Yes. And then as she got a little older, I'm guessing, there's no age, I'm guessing like an older teenager, she actually had a suitor, stupid name, but had a suitor, and he tried to rape her. Well, she beat him so badly he was in the hospital for a couple of days.
Yeah, I like her.
So, I mean, stabbing, I don't know the whole story, but anyway, so William doesn't really know what to do with her, because I don't know what a woman in South Carolina in the 1700s is supposed to be doing, but I promise you it's not being down at the tavern drinking and flirting with sailors, which is what Anne was doing.
I don't think so.
And possibly even seducing them, as they said. So I mean,
man, I'm really into this.
Yeah, William, I knew you would be. William, he doesn't know what to do. So he does what, a father would do in the 1700s. He's like, there's only one way to solve this problem.
Send her to the convent.
Oh, no, that was a good one. He actually betroths her to a local man. Another dumb
Oh,
word,
that's not going to go
betroth.
well for somebody.
Yeah, so probably the local man was spared because Anne's reaction to this was, "Nope," and she comes home married to James Bonny, a small-time pirate.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was, a beautiful affair at the plantation. I'm just kidding. William kicked her out immediately. It was like, "You're not my daughter. I disown you.
Oh,
You're out on your own." So James and sometimes he's called John. We're going with James, but James and Anne, then they kind of sail off into the not really the sunset. They just sail off into trouble and they end up in the Bahamas. And so
okay.
they married each other for different reasons. James married Anne because he thought she came with money. He was like, "This is great." But it's
Then she got
James,
disowned.
yeah, James's existence put a stop to that. And then Anne married James as an act of rebellion, and like he's cool, he's a pirate,
Right.
right? But as soon as they get there, he instead becomes an informant against pirates. And he loses his cool factor immediately.
Yeah, he's a snitch.
Yeah, exactly. So he is an informant for the governor and he's turning in his fellow pirates. He even creates a top 10 list of pirates that he promises to bring in. So he's invested. And on that list is actually Blackbeard, like the most famous.
Cool.
So I didn't know this, but Blackbeard actually worked for the British government and it would attack the Spanish and French ships during the war. And then when the war ended, he just kept doing it. Like he just,
He's
but I
like,
mean, not,
you
yeah, not just
sons of
French and
bitches.
Spanish. Yeah, just anything. Like he's like, I'm just going to attack everything that's on the water now. And he was apparently pretty ruthless. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure worse than this, but this one stuck with me because it grosses me out. Like if he took over a ship and he told a woman to remove her rings and she refused, he would just cut her fingers off and take them off that way.
All right.
So this is
It's
who
efficient.
this is who he's after. So he's doing that. James is doing his thing. He did not catch Blackbeard, by the way. But James
Yeah,
is doing
it's
his thing.
Blackbeard.
Anne is doing what she does best, which is drinking down at the tavern. That's her favorite
I love
pastime.
her.
She's just having a good time.
Do you have a
And
picture of her? I
no,
can't
there
wait
are
to look at
no
them.
pictures of her. I'm so
Oh,
mad. That's why I gave the description of red hair and green eyes so you could kind of get a little something.
yeah.
And I don't want to give it away, but now,
Okay.
but let me go back to the picture issue in a minute.
Okay.
So yeah, so James is like doing his thing with the, being a snitch, and Anne's down at the tavern and she's instead of sailor, she's just living it up with the pirates, loving life. She takes a liking to John Rackham, otherwise known as Calico Jack, which is like the
I feel like
coolest name.
I've heard this
Have
name
you?
before.
You know him personally? So
Yeah.
Calico Jack is famous for two things. One is designing the Jolly Roger flag, which is the skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other is having Anne in his world, which you'll hear about in a minute. But Calico Jack, at this time when he meets Anne, he's actually in like semi-retirement. He had been a quartermaster on a ship with Captain Charles Vane. And a quartermaster is somebody who kind of like keeps the ship in line and will
Yeah.
administer the punishments. So at one point, Charles, the captain, actually retreated during a fight. And so Calico Jack accused him of being a coward, which is a big no-no in the pirate
Yep.
code. The crew agreed with him, and Calico Jack got promoted to captain.
Whoa, it was a mutiny.
So Calico Jack then, he was like a pretty small-time pirate, but then he kind of got lucky and had this huge haul and took over a huge ship with a ton of cargo. Unfortunately, because of that, the authorities were like, now we have to get this guy. And they put a full manhunt, and he had to go into hiding and abandon all the cargo in the ship. And so because of that, he was in hiding and really a wanted man. And they were offering at this time, because piracy was such a big deal, they were offering pardons for anybody who would turn themselves in and stop being a pirate. And he took them up on that.
Oh.
So at this
Were they
point,
true to their word?
Well, I mean, hold on. He was where Anne was, like not being a pirate at this point, because he had taken the pardon, and that's how they met. So then eventually what happened is Calico Jack approached James Bonny and offered to pay for Anne, which sounds disgusting, but apparently was customary at that time.
Well, yeah.
James refused and instead tried to bring charges of adultery against Anne.
Yeah.
Which by the sounds of it she was guilty of. So that was
I
James's.
love her so much.
Right, that was James's solution. And so Anne was like, all right, if that's how you're going to play it. And her and Calico
Stab 'em.
Jack stole a boat, got a crew, and took off.
Yeah, they did.
So
It's my Bonny girl.
yeah, okay. So if you're thinking like, oh, being a pirate, like I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, big deal. But let me just tell you what's going on in this pirate world that Anne is just signed up for. So the crimes that the pirates are committing, obviously theft, clearly they're taking boats, cargo, everything.
They're pirates.
Yeah. But also assault, kidnapping, smuggling, rape, human trafficking, and murder. I mean, it's...
Yeah, pirates were not PG or PG-13 as we see in the movies.
No, and side note, you just swallowed like an entire cup of tea on that.
Well, I'm very into the story.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awful. So it's super violent, super high risk, if you will, and they're breaking laws left and right. So they were so ruthless that the crime, the punishment for being a pirate at that time was you were executed, or you were put in jail, which was essentially the same thing because the jails were in such terrible condition that most pirates would die before the trial even happened.
You'd probably want to die by execution than dying that like a slower way in the jail.
Maybe. I don't know. Both sound gross. And then the third, less severe, was flogging, and then they would brand your forehead with a hot iron in the shape of a P.
Yeah.
Which is like taking the scarlet letter and just upping it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to wear bangs for the rest of your life. So all are bad.
Got to worry about the fringe. I mean, it's a whole thing.
I know, right? They don't have hair dryers. Okay. Now, and the pirates were particularly violent. I mean, I'm sure some just enjoyed the violence, but also they had what they called pirate persuasion. So that if they were super violent on one mission, then hopefully that would spread. And then the next time their job would be easier. Like the next merchant ship they went to attack.
You're building up the reputation and fear so that the next time they'll just give up easily because they don't want to get tortured or mutilated.
Exactly. So like
smart.
There's I wouldn't say a purpose to their violence, but
yeah,
there's like it's like a strategy. So they're not going to not do it. Like they're doing it. Now there's also punishments within like your little pirate community. So if you bring a woman on board, attack another man, or don't have weapons ready, or like a slew of other things that you can imagine, the punishments possible to you are flogging, which was seldom used because so many of the pirates were flogged in other situations.
Gotcha.
So in order to have a flogging actually happen, an overwhelming majority of the crew had to vote on it.
Oh, that's very democratic.
Well, and then if they did, they gave the pirate a bullet, said bite on it, and then they hit them with the cat o' nine tails, which was 9 different ropes of varying lengths with random knots for maximum pain. God. And that's the nicest one.
Okay.
Then there was also something called keel hauling. They would tie them to the ship and then drag them the length of the ship. So 50% of the time they drown.
Oh, like behind?
Like underneath it.
Oh. Wow.
And the other 50% of the time they survived, but they were beat up from barnacles and the ship. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So not great. And then the worst one was marooning, where they would just drop you off with a gun and a keg of water and jet. Like on a really remote island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's entering into some rough territory.
Oh,
now, if you remember, I said that one of the main offenses was bringing a woman on board. This is why Calico Jack is famous for this, because it was not done.
It's bad luck.
Exactly. And so what happened was, when they're getting on board, one of the crew members actually protested about Anne being there.
Mm-hmm.
And she apparently stabbed him in the heart and threw him overboard.
Oh, I love her so much.
She just murdered a man.
Well, he's going to get her into trouble. You got to do what you got to do. I'm with you, Anne.
Yikes. So, yeah, so I don't think anyone said anything after that. They were like, all right, cool. So Anne is on board. And there's so many stories in myths. Who knows what's totally true or It's like a game of telephone. But one of the stories is on her first pirating job. She actually took like a dressmaker's dummy, so like a mannequin,
Mm-hmm.
and made it look like it had been brutalized, and then stood over it with an axe, beating it while a merchant ship passed. And the merchant ship was so scared they just surrendered their cargo. And they
That's
were like, we'll
awesome.
see you later.
Very creative.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true. So anyway, when she was on the ship with the crew, she actually dressed as a woman. You know, she was Calico
Yeah.
Jack's lady. But when they would go on, I don't know what you call them. I'm going to call them missions. When they went on missions, she would dress like a man, like she did in her
Right.
childhood.
She
You
had
know,
practice.
yeah, pants, shirt, sash that held her sword and a few guns.
Ugh.
And, you know, she'd have.
If I could draw, I would draw a picture of her.
I also have to say, just because I'm a huge germaphobe, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing some reading, and I'm like, this keeps me up at night. So, because of poor nutrition, exposure, limited access to clean water, life-threatening storms in small spaces, like diseases came to stay.
Yeah.
It was gross.
It would wipe out crews.
Yes.
What was that with the S?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Hold on. I know
Okay.
exactly where you're going. So, because they had any clean water they had was used for drinking.
Yeah.
So, they never took baths. And when they did, it was in salt water.
Right.
And they never cleaned their clothes. And when they did, also salt water, no soap.
Yep.
Like when I go to the beach, I immediately need to go back to the house and shower.
So you're saying it's not a pirate's life for you?
It is. I mean, I think we knew that going in. Also, the bathroom is just a hole, like over, into the water. And then if it was real rocky, then they would just have a bucket.
Chamber pot.
Yeah. And then, so what you're thinking of is scurvy.
Yes.
Yeah. I read your mind. So lack of vitamin C would lead to scurvy. And this one, their cheeks would swell and get hard. Their gums rot out. Their teeth fall out. Their breath becomes putrid. And then they also bleed underneath the skin, like mostly in their legs. Ugh. Millions were said to die from this.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
The cheeks would puff out and then get hard.
Yeah.
That's
all they needed was some of your tea there.
Yeah. Throw them an orange.
Yeah. And then on top of it, they risk of infection from gunshots and sword wounds.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Dysentery, syphilis, smallpox, measles, gnats that would bite you and form ulcers. No, thank you. Lice, fleas, rats. Like, you get it. It's a pleasure.
Not very
cruise.
glamorous.
Yeah. It's not something I'm signing up for.
Ugh.
This is why I would not survive time travel. No. No. There's that whole Outlander where she's on a ship. I'm done.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, all right, I'm just drop me off anywhere.
Maroon me.
Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, so Anne was fighting right along with them, apparently. It's not like she waited on the deck while they did their thing. Like she put on her outfit and she was fighting right along with them.
Good for you, Anne.
She became pregnant. I think we all saw that coming. And so when she got towards the end of her pregnancy, Calico Jack actually dropped her off in Cuba to deliver the baby. And then he jetted. So nobody knows what happened to the baby.
Oh, no.
The records, they don't know if it survived childbirth. If it did, they assume that Anne and Calico Jack arranged for it to be adopted, or they just abandoned it. But the baby didn't come back on board with Anne. So Calico Jack picks Anne up a little bit later. And while she had been doing her thing, Calico Jack and his crew had actually taken over a ship in the West Indies, and they'd taken some of the crew prisoner, which was a common thing. So I told you they would kidnapping, like they would use the kidnappers. That's not right. They would kidnap people. There we go. Either for ransom or just to set an example, or to make them work on their own crew.
Slave.
Yeah. So they have new crew members, and Anne kind of takes a liking to one of these young guys. And it's unclear if she just was friends with him and they started having a friendship, or if she was trying to seduce him, as they said. So either through the comfort of this friendship or at the moment of no return for the seduction, this young sailor says, hold up, I got to tell you something. I am also a woman. And
No way.
meet Mary Read.
Oh my God. That is a twist.
So Mary and Anne had shockingly similar childhoods. So Mary was born out of wedlock in probably like 1685-ish. Her story is a little more confusing, but stick with me. So
Okay.
Mary's mother actually was married and had a son. And then she had, it's confusing because there's so many Marys. Then she had Mary, the person, either from an affair or after her first
Oh,
husband had passed because he died really
okay.
early on. I don't know the timing on that. So now she has 2 young children, and sadly, Mary's brother dies. No foul play. He just got sick and he died.
Yeah.
So Mary's mother is continuing to get support from her deceased husband's family for that child, and she doesn't want to lose that. So she just dresses Mary up as her dead brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Mary spends a chunk of her time as a boy as well. And
Okay.
eventually grandma finds out and says, no, no, thank you.
Got it.
And then what
You're-
happens is Mary just continues to dress as a boy, and her mother rents her out as a servant to make money.
Okay.
Now, at the age of 13, Mary becomes a powder monkey, which is
Excuse me?
carrying bags of gunpowder on and off the ships when they need to.
Whoa. Cool.
And then Mary actually joins the British military and the infantry and the cavalry and is a soldier.
Still acting as
Yeah.
a boy.
This is like a Mulan story.
I mean, how do they not? Are they not?
I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, I assume she keeps her shirt on.
That's insane.
Yeah, so she's a trained soldier. I mean, you've seen Mulan. You know how that went down.
Yeah,
That's one of your favorites.
it is.
So eventually she falls in love with one of the soldiers, and she tells him, hey, just so you know, I'm a woman.
Aww.
And they get married.
Wow.
And so she goes back to dressing as a woman, and they open an inn or a tavern or something, and he continues to be a soldier. He
This
dies.
is great.
Well, he dies
Oh.
pretty quick. Sorry. Your great was ill-timed. He dies pretty quickly. And Mary can't run the tavern by herself. Like, business goes down, and she can't do it herself. So she gets back into pretending to be a man, and she gets work on a ship.
Okay.
And that's where she meets Calico Jack. Calico Jack takes over the ship she's working on and takes her to join his crew. Yeah. So now, I mean, Anne and Mary were said to just be best buds. There's also rumors that maybe they were lovers.
Awesome.
I have no idea. Who cares?
So fun.
They were close, one way or the other, right? And Calico Jack actually knew that Mary was a woman as well, because he started to get jealous.
Oh, and then
they told him.
And then Anne's like, relax.
Yeah, and then they told him, and he was said to just be like, oh, okay, cool, and just went about his business like
that's great.
Nothing was like, all right. So I assume Anne's dressing like a woman, right? Like when the Chester crew, but I think Mary dressed as a man the whole time. So Calico Jack knew, Anne knew. And then Mary actually also was said to have a boyfriend, so I'm going to assume he also knew. And
yeah.
And this is the story. I hope the story is true. Mary's my favorite. So what happened is her boyfriend was like her, had been taken hostage and forced to be a crew member. So he did not like pirates.
Okay.
And he vocalized this opinion.
Oh, that's not smart.
And one of the weathered pirates, and he was like, no, you can't talk like that to me. We're going to have a duel. So meet me tomorrow at 2:00. I'm making up the time, but you'll get it, right? So they have to have a duel to like defend their honors.
Yeah.
So Mary,
the pirate's honor.
Right. So Mary's like, oh gosh, like my boyfriend's either going to die or he's going to retreat, and then he'll be labeled a coward, which is just as bad. So Mary finds this pirate, picks a fight with him until the pirate says, all right, we're having a duel. She says, great, I'll see you tomorrow at noon. She duels him before the scheduled duel with her boyfriend, and she kills him.
Boss.
I mean, because she's a trained soldier.
Yeah.
She's not messing around.
Total boss.
Yeah. So
she's a smart lady.
she saves her boyfriend's life. For sure.
Boyfriend's kind of lame. Like, get it together.
Well, I mean, hey, feminism. The man doesn't have to save the woman. God, get out of the 1700s, Alana.
He needs to be smarter.
Yeah, well, possibly. But she took care of it. So, yeah, they're doing their thing. And they actually, it's the fall of 1720 now. And they actually have a stroke of good luck. They have some really good hauls, like back to back. So 7 fishing boats, 2 sloops, and a raid on a schooner. I think I'm saying all those things right. But Calico Jack learned nothing. You remember, while he retired the first time, was because he drew too much attention to himself. So the same thing happens, and the authorities are like, okay, we need to put an end to this crew. They're going nuts. So in the middle of the night, on October 22nd, one of the governor's ships found them. And Anne and Mary were on deck with Calico Jack. I assume there were a couple others, but Calico Jack fires from the deck. They return fire. And when they do that, Calico Jack and the other men retreat below deck. And it said that the men were either too drunk to fight or hiding. And so Mary and Anne actually stay on the deck and prepare to fight the men who are about to come onto the boat.
But there are only 2.
I know. So you have to assume they're outnumbered, because I assume that the authorities brought more than 2 men for this fight. I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know if it's 2 to 10, 2 to 50, 2 to 100, but they're severely outnumbered. So during this fight,
useless men.
During this fight, Anne shouts, "Dogs, if instead of these weaklings, I only had some women with me."
Yeah.
And then they proceed, her and Mary alone proceed to fight everybody coming onto their ship. And then Mary stops just long enough to say her very famous line, which I text to Alana earlier and told her she couldn't read it until now. In your best pirate voice, what did Mary say?
I'm nervous.
I knew you would be. What did Mary say?
All right. What kind of accent should I do?
I mean, this is your creative discretion.
If there's a man among you, you'll come up and fight like the man you are to be.
Nailed it. Perfect.
These are epic lines.
I know. So she yells this below deck. Nobody comes up. So you know what she does? She just fires a warning shot and kills a man. Like, you're useless. Yeah, basic. And she gets back to the fight.
Yeah, basic.
Again, it's 2 against we don't know how many. The whole crew is captured.
Yeah.
They can't. It can't.
Come on.
I know. So the whole crew's captured. They're taken to Jamaica for trial, and they try the men and women separately. So they try the men first, and it's a known fact that for piracy, they would do it very quickly. So the trial happens almost immediately. They're all found guilty. They're all sentenced to death. So Calico Jack, before he is about to be executed, he asks to see Anne one last time.
Aww.
Oh, hold on. Anne comes to the jail, and she says one thing: "If you had fought like a man, you need not have been hanged like a dog." And then she walks out.
Yeah, damn.
Cold-blooded.
I love her.
God, it's a little harsh.
Well, she's not wrong.
Yay. So he was hanged, and then his body was put on display in a cage as a deterrent to people who might be considering the
pros get his eyes,
the luxurious life of a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, Mary and Anne were also found guilty.
Right. I was about to, like, are they just walking free, or what's happening here?
And they're also sentenced to death.
Yeah. They tried, though.
Well, Mary and Anne both claim they're pregnant, which is probably true. But I don't know how, like, you can probably carry that ruse for a while in the 1700s. Like, I don't, what are the obstetrician's tools that are available at that time?
Ooh, I don't even want to
like,
know.
I'm picturing, like, they put an empty glass up to the belly to see if they can hear anything. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure how, you could probably carry that on for a while if you aren't pregnant. But
yeah,
it's believed that they both were, probably. Anyway, sadly, Mary dies from fever. Again, they're not sure if it's from childbirth a few months later or just from the conditions in prison.
Yeah.
So she dies and she's buried in Jamaica. And nobody knows what happened to Anne Bonny.
She snuck away.
There are rumors that maybe she escaped. Maybe she was executed and they didn't keep a record of it. But the two most popular theories is one that her father came back into the picture, paid for her to be returned to South Carolina, and basically forced her into a domestic life where she got married and had 8 children.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that one. I just don't think she could do it.
No.
And then the second one is they actually recently, somebody, I put the link in the source notes, but somebody actually found a record of an Anne Bonny being buried in 1733 in Jamaica, where the trial was. So, I mean, that's a long time from the time the trial was in 1720. So,
right.
I don't know if they released her or she escaped, but it's thought that maybe she just stayed there for the next few years. I won't do the math. I think it's 13. Pretty sure it's 13.
It's 13.
But we'll just, it's 13. But we'll
13.
Yeah. So nobody knows what happened to her.
That's what I think. She wouldn't have done it. She would have run away.
Yeah.
She's not a domesticated gal.
I don't think she could have handled it either. But they also think there's like a record that says she died in South Carolina in 1782. I don't know. I don't know which one I'm rooting for more either. Like, it'd be nice for her to live longer, but maybe not.
No, it's not the life she wants.
But maybe she raised like 8 crazy kids. We don't know.
Maybe. Well, let's find her descendants.
I mean, maybe she was like, had like raised like a little gang of pirates.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'd have no idea.
You don't have to pay them anything. Perfect.
So nobody knows what happened to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like this should be a movie.
Well, okay, so back to the pictures.
So cool.
There are no pictures of these women, obviously, because it was so long ago. However, there are like depictions of it, like drawings that just, in every single drawing, every single one, the woman that's supposed to be Anne or Mary is like pulling their shirt down to expose a breast, as if like that's the only possible way to depict this. Like, just so you know, I'm a woman, surprise. And every single one, I'm like, do we have, like, are they always doing this? Like, let them wear a full shirt really and just say write their name at the bottom and we got it. So I really am not a fan of all the pictures. It's like their hair's like blowing in the wind and a nipple's always out in every one. Even when they're fighting, I'm like, come on, like, this can't be right. And then the other thing is there's just some sort of game, you'll probably know, again, this is out of my element. There's some sort of game where there's like a animated depiction of these women and it's, what you'd expect, like Hollywood's version.
I have to look it up.
Yeah. They're sultry looking. They probably just look like normal people, especially living on the conditions they were living.
Probably have some rough skin. Yeah. We'll start there.
Probably a little sunburn, probably missing some teeth. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, there's the variation in their ages. Like, who knows how old they were? Like, there's a big difference between being 20 in this situation and, being in your 30s.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who knows? I don't know what they look like. There are no pictures. I'm going to let you, that's why for our Instagram, I'll let you find one and pick it because, like I said, everyone was just pulling out a.
Well, yeah, you gotta maybe put a little smiley face over that so we don't get pulled down.
Well, it's like really, the drawings they're not like realistic. I mean, they're realistic. They look like humans, but I don't know. I mean, their faces don't look, I'm like, who looks like that? Their faces don't look real. They're like real Renaissance-y.
Okay, got it. I think I have a good idea of it.
Yeah, but imagine, like, Mary's the one that interests me the most because she's just trying to live her life. She's a trained soldier and she's just getting work on a ship and then she's taken hostage and just making the best of it.
Right. Got a stupid boyfriend,
Imagine what she would have been in a world where she could have actually done stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she would be unreal.
They're so cool.
And I feel like maybe had some emotional issues. I'm going to be honest. I know she's your favorite.
She's a little temper.
But she's stabbing people left and right in the heart.
She is. Yeah, I love it.
So maybe that was just a product of she couldn't take it anymore. but maybe if she had some more opportunities, she wouldn't have felt so angry. Who's to
Maybe.
say? But Anne's
She's
scared.
cooped
Anne
up.
seems a little more volatile.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, she doesn't have the discipline of a soldier,
Right.
etc.
Yeah, that's the big difference. I think that's exactly right. Like Mary seems pretty disciplined, where
Yeah.
Anne's just like, nah, that doesn't feel cool. Let's just shoot it and just go. Oh, I forgot to tell you this little tidbit. I hope this story is true. Like, so when she married James Bonny, who must have been super boring, by the way, for her to jet.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, James, to your descendants. When her father disowned her for that, there's a rumor that she promptly burned the plantation to the ground.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like stories get blown out of proportion. Like maybe she just lit a bush on fire. I don't know what happened. Or maybe she did burn it to the ground. It seems like,
I mean, wouldn't put it past her.
I know. So she's serious. And like, whereas Mary,
Classic Anne.
Mary is like in her downtime is like, I'm going to run a business.
Right.
Anne's like, I'm going to drink and sleep with pirates down at the tavern. I'll catch you later. So they're very different personalities, but they're supposed to be really, I mean, imagine being on a ship full of men, especially as you're pretending to be a man and you don't want anyone to find out that you're not. And then you see another, like the odds of seeing another woman.
It has to be crazy.
Mary must have been like so relieved to have somebody else to talk to.
This is a story.
I knew you'd like it.
This is a story. I love it.
You're probably going to be Anne Bonny for Halloween.
Oh my God. Yeah, I am.
Let's get that red wig.
I love this story.
Are you prepared to wear that shirt though all the time? I mean,
yikes. I don't know if I can pull it off these days.
Yikes. Yeah. So I mean, she must have been like so scared to tell Anne, but at the same time, like so relieved once Anne was accepting of it. And Calico Jack,
someone to talk to, a fellow.
They probably had BFF bracelets like us.
Oh my God. Yes.
And Calico Jack, I mean, who knows? But he was said to just been like, oh, okay. And then just kept treating her like,
cool.
Well, seems cool. I mean, he's killing people left and right.
Well, yeah, but if we're taking that,
okay,
brush that under the rug.
I can't understand your true crime compass. You're like, I mean, they're doing terrible things.
I know, but we're on their side for this story.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, I don't know. There were rumors too that Calico Jack and Mary and Anne were all in a relationship together, but I feel like that's just, who knows?
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, yeah. I bet their Facebook status for Anne and Calico Jack would be, it's complicated.
It's complicated. Yeah.
It's complicated. But I think Mary seemed to really, like, actually even married that guy. I mean, could not officially because there's, as one gets married on a pirate ship, I guess. So she had her own thing going on. I don't know if that's true. But
interesting.
Who knows?
I love this.
I knew you'd like it. It is just an insane story. I wish we knew what happened to Anne. I mean, I hope she got away, at least for a minute.
I think she did.
I wish Mary had gotten away. I feel like Mary would have just been like, all right, I'm going to settle down with my kid now.
Yeah.
Sad.
I feel like Mary and Anne could settle down and just like chill.
Yeah, it's like a Practical Magic vibe.
Yeah.
They're like the two aunts on the hill.
Yes.
That's the right movie, right?
Aunts on the Hill.
In Practical Magic, isn't that the two aunts?
Oh, yeah.
Who are the witches?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, dreams. For sure. I'm not. 1700s sound brutal.
Yeah. I mean, this is the best time to be alive. Every year going forward is the best time to be alive, just because
medically
I know we have a lot of problems, but like tech and medicine.
Yeah.
Like we take so much for granted. Indoor plumbing. Can you imagine not having indoor plumbing?
You're obsessed with indoor plumbing. But
I
that is the least of my concerns. I don't understand. Like, how about the fact that they don't have penicillin?
Yeah, well, I don't want to go to the bathroom in chamber pot.
Oh my gosh, you would get used to it.
And then it's sitting in there, and I don't want to deal with it. Or you have to walk outside your outhouse. Look, indoor plumbing.
Your priorities are just all backwards. no outdoor plumbing is the easiest thing that's happening to you. The easiest thing. Like, you're just squatting over a hole and moving on with your life.
That's only on a ship.
What do you think? You don't think they dig a hole in an outhouse? What do you think it is?
Oh, you're saying I was thinking about the chamber pot.
Okay, well, then you immediately empty the chamber pot.
Ugh.
You get used to the smell, too. Your nose will shut off.
Ugh.
Well, I'm just saying.
I have very sensitive nose.
You should be far more concerned with the fact that you're not getting a bath or vitamin C. Do you know how they clean their teeth that they had left? They chewed on a stick. So you should be more concerned with these topics. So the fact that they had to go potty on a hole. I have a young kid, so I say potty. But you get what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's be grateful to be alive now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who has gotten scurvy lately? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That sounds awful.
So bad.
I didn't realize that, like, you bled under the skin, and there was an account of a sailor who contracted it, and he had to like cut the skin to relieve the pressure, and the blood came out all black.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Nasty.
All he needed was an orange.
All he needed was an orange.
Or a peach.
I mean, at that point, you're eating the peel too. You got to take every little bit of vitamin C.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, really, where the vitamin C comes from is the like little strings, you know, that are around the orange but under the peel.
Yeah. Sorry, I just
don't throw those out.
I love when you
eat them.
Of course, you would say that. You always have some like weird thing. You're like, no, this is how this happens. You don't eat the peels of oranges.
Yeah.
They're not very tasty. I mean, I guess at that point, who cares? Because at that point, I would have been having. What do you think? Hold on, question. I'm abandoning this train of thought. What do you think Anne's drinking down at the tavern?
Rum.
Just rum.
Just like really shitty liquor.
Rude. You don't know the quality. Don't disparage the poor tavern because you don't know.
Guaranteed bottom of the well liquor.
Well, it probably did the job.
It did the job. It's very strong, terrible tasting.
I wonder what happened to James Bonny.
That loser.
He did not get Blackbeard, I'll tell you that.
He did not.
But, yeah.
Now I want to just immerse myself in pirate things.
I knew you'd love it. This one's just for you.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
I really loved it. It's like, I love the adventure stories.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, they're murdering and kidnapping and...
Yeah.
Okay. You can overlook a lot if like a fun adventure is happening. I'll keep that in mind for my future story selection. Yikes. All right. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do next. I've got a couple that I'm working on, so we'll see. What comes up next?
I'll need a fuller body tea, though. I'm sure. This was actually the perfect one to pick for this. I didn't even know it was going to be pirates, and here I am, tropical fruit.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was impressed.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Do you have any updates or any last words for us?
The housing market's impossible.
Obviously.
That's my update.
So you're trying to buy a house. She's not a real estate agent. You're trying to buy another house.
Agent. I am trying to buy a house, and it is hard.
Yeah.
You're competing with at least 10 other people, and the offers get crazy.
You know what Anne Bonny would have done?
She would have stabbed him in the heart.
And then burned that house to the ground if she didn't get it.
Yeah!
Please don't do that. You could just you could just buy a boat. Did you consider that?
I have considered
Oh my God, I was kidding. What do you mean you've considered that?
A houseboat. I love the ocean.
Oh boy.
You just live on it. And you could,
we understand.
Be in the marina, docked there, and you could still have a regular life.
I love how you're explaining to us like the logistics of the houseboat. Like, pretty sure.
No, I'm saying it wouldn't be out in the middle of the ocean. Girls got to work.
Obviously, you don't have good Wi-Fi in the middle of the ocean.
Exactly.
Really going to hinder your Zoom calls. All right. So you can find us on Instagram at
Tea Time Crimes.
Email us at
teatimecrimes@gmail.com.
ooh, sassy.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we would. And rate or leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right. Alana fell down a
Video game rabbit hole.
Yeah. So what did you find?
Okay. So that game you were mentioning that had Anne Bonny in it, it's Assassin's Creed, which is a very popular like action game. And there's a bunch of different ones. It's Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And Anne Bonny was an Irish pirate.
You're so excited you can't even speak.
Calico Jack Rackham is in it, and Mary Reed.
What's wrong?
This is so cool.
Oh my God, she's delighted, guys.
Let me find, where is that line? There is a whole Wikipedia page here.
Yeah, so that's what I found, but I didn't understand it. So
it says trained by her friend Mary.
There you go.
Anne was a capable fighter. Like Assassin's Creed totally found this story and probably riffed on it a little bit.
I mean, Anne had some natural fighting instincts. Let's be clear.
There's a James in here.
James Bonny. Ugh, he's probably the bad guy. You're so excited. You're going to buy it,
She rejected the advances of many a pirate, called a tease. But it didn't bother her.
No, it did not. You're going to play this, aren't you?
I absolutely am.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, she's super pumped. She's geeking out over this. I know nothing about it.
So cool.
I barely know what video games are. Well, I'm glad that you found this. All right, bye for real. Bye.
Bye. Bye.